Good evening, everyone. How you doing? Yes, my name is Marvin Smith. I am the founder of Smith Bookkeeping Financial Services, and the title of this stream is "Are you paying too much taxes?" Now we start to approach the tax season. Many of you will be getting your tax documents. Some of you have gotten your W-2, which was due by January 31st. A lot of you waiting on your mortgage statement. If you own a property, if you own a home, you waiting on your mortgage statement to come from the bank. If you have stocks and bonds, you wait for your brokerage statement. Brokerage statements come from Robinhood or Fidelity. Those who have the Obamacare, waiting for your 1095A. Those who have health insurance in the marketplace, you wait for your 1095A. Those who are on Social Security retirement, wait for your 1099 SA, which stands for Social Security Administration. And those who receiving annuities or retirement pensions or waiting for your 1099R. So the reason why I'm making this short video is to let you know that the title of it, Are You Paying Too Much Taxes? And the reason why I'm asking that question is, do you find yourself owing every year? Do you also find yourself where you anticipate a refund, however, you end up owing? Do you find yourself where the refunds are getting smaller and smaller year by year? Do you find yourself not being able to maximize your deductions? Are you doing your own tax return? Are you satisfied with the results that you're getting? Well, there's a reason why you're owing. One of those reasons why you're owing is because one, you're doing your own tax return, and the main thing is many of you don't have the education or the experience in understanding the IRS tax laws and tax codes and knowing how to use these tax laws and tax codes to your advantage. So many people have walked into my office where they owe thousands of dollars. I've had one client that owed over $15,000. And what happened was she was doing her own tax return, but wasn't doing it properly. She wasn't maximizing her deductions. So she was an actual referral. And I reviewed her tax return and saw that that she was not taking advantage of a lot of deductions. And then from that point on, I was able to prepare several years of her return. I did a current year return where I prepared that return, and then I was able to do what they call an amended return. An amended return means that there was something that was not you left off of your return. So let's say, for example, you are a sole proprietor or a consultant, yet you get to file what they call a Schedule C. A Schedule C is like a business return, and you did not write off certain amount of expenses because you didn't know or you didn't know or you wasn't aware of this, and you came into my office or any other tax professional, and we review your prior year tax return, and we say to you, based on this is what you didn't do. So now we can do what they call an amended return. So you have 3 years to amend a return. So I did an amended return, and I was able to do what? I was able to now be able to get her refunds. Why? Because her returns was not prepared correctly. She did it on her own. And when you do it on your own and you lack the education, you don't know what you can write off. So that's why it's very important, as I mentioned in one of my videos, that tax tips for 2024 when you're filing your return, that what's important is that you understand that there are four different types of way that people receive income. First is a W-2 as an employee. The second tier is self-employment. Those are the consultants who are sole proprietors or single member LLCs. Then the third tier would be business, corporation. The fourth tier is investors. So one is employee income. The second one is what? Self-employment. Third is business income. And the fourth is what they call passive income. What does passive income comes from? Rental properties and royalties. Those are two examples of rental. The two examples of what passive income is. So as I mentioned, those are different. Those are different type of different. Those are different tax returns. A W two employee does not get the same write offs as a person that owns a business, or a person that has rental properties, or an investor, or one who's self employed. You get the what they call the standard deduction, either single, married filing joint, married filing separate, or head of household. That's what you get. And then you're able to use your if you own a home and you get a mortgage statement, the interest helps adjust your gross income. But other than that, you don't have any other itemized deductions. Um, so that's why it's important. A lot of you do your own tax return because you want to save money. You don't want someone else to do it. You don't want to bring it to a professional to have it done. So you figure I'm going to do it myself. And a lot of times, if you're owing money every year, then you need to stop, ask yourself a question: why do I owe? And how can I fix this? What strategies can I come up with that's going to help me reduce my taxes? Reduce my taxes. And once you able to come in my office, I can give you a strategy that's going to help you reduce your taxes. Because maybe you're an Uber driver, you do Uber, and Uber give you what they call a 1099 NEC. NEC stands for non-employee compensation. So now you're an independent contractor working for Uber, and at the end of the year, Uber gives you a statement of the mileage. Now you're not knowing that what you can also have other expenses that you can write off, and you're not using the right form or right schedule on your tax return, and not taking advantage of it. So if you're an Uber driver or you're Lyft, or if you have a business through Toro, it's very important that you do not do your tax return, but you bring it to a professional like myself, where we can go over your tax return and help you maximize and take all your deductions. If you own a property, a rental property, whether it's a vacation property or Airbnb or VROB, now since you own that property, you come into my office. Now I can help you offset your expenses, offset your income, and show you what deductions you can take in regards to reducing and lowering your tax bill. So that's why it's important that you come to a professional. I know a lot of you don't want to pay the money, but a lot of you pay for the lack of knowledge. And when there's a lack of knowledge, what happens is you go around not knowing why these things are happening to you. So I always say that what life is a classroom, we all must pay tuition. So as long as you're living, always invest into yourself. And when you invest into yourself, now you're able to move in the world, being able to accomplish the things that you set out to do. So that's why it's important. There are so many people that owe and they don't know why. And they be just, for example, not filling out your W 4 correctly, not your withholdings, not enough withholdings. And I understand a lot of people why they do that is because they might claim themselves and their kids. They want to bring home more take home pay. Why? Because the cost of living is high right now. Inflation and the cost of living is high. So it also depends on what state you live in. If you live in New York, you pay a lot of taxes. If you live in California, you're subject to a lot of taxes. If you live in Delaware, you don't pay a state tax or sales tax, but the cost of living is high. If you live in Texas, you don't pay a state tax. So there are certain states where you're not taxed as much. Every state has its own jurisdictions and laws when it comes to what state taxes. Um, so that's why it's important that you learn and come to a tax professional to do tax planning. What is tax planning? A plan to come up with a strategy to help you reduce and maximize the deductions that will help you with your tax return. And I've seen too many people either do that themselves and they get it wrong, and then what happens is Now they want to come to my office, but I'm always glad to help anyone in regards to helping them with their situation. Um, and I enjoy doing what I do. If you go to my website, www.sbfsllc.com, and you go down on the bottom of my homepage, you'll see all my reviews. I have clients throughout the United States, how I have impacted their life, how I have changed their lives, and how I have educated anyone that have come into my presence. They learn a lot from me. So I enjoy being a source of knowledge. But like I tell anyone, it's very important that you learn yourself. Um, and that's very important. There's no excuse why you don't know. So when it comes to taxes, and if you own a business or you have any rental property or you own something, it's good to get a tax consultation. So now you can sit down with myself and you and I can come up with a strategy that's going to help you. And as I mentioned in my last video, tax tips for 2024, you'd be surprised. A lot of people don't know how to fill out the W 4. And what'll happen is they'll end up owing. I'm going to give you a story. Um, there was a young lady who, and how it went was nowadays for small companies, they don't have, some of them don't have what they call a human resource department on site. So now everything is being outsourced. So now you give them what they call an employee portal, where you could download the app to your phone and you're able to access your pay stubs and retrieve your W 2. But in this case here, you go online and you fill out a W 4 and you put put your exemptions and your exemptions, and you might not be filling it out correctly, and come to find out they're not taking out enough federal taxes, and now you owe because you don't understand how to fill out the W 4. You don't understand the questions that it's asking you. So what happens is you probably leave something blank or check the wrong thing, and come to find out when you get ready to do your taxes, you end up owing. A lot of people have come to my office, and once I sit down and examine their tax return, and I ask them several questions, did I understand that what they didn't fill out their W 4 wrong, correct, and there was no human resource department on site to help them walk them through it, to help them understand, or even payroll. Because a lot of companies, what they're doing is they're outsourcing their human resource and outsourcing their payroll because it's cost effective to them. So that's why it's important that you fill out the W 4 correctly. If you have two jobs on the W 4, if it actually where it says, do you have another job? You put yes. Why? So now they can take out the withhold the right amount of taxes from your pay. If you're working as a W 2 employee and then you're working part time as a contractor, you'll notice that your job will withhold taxes, but when you work as a contractor, there are no taxes withheld. So I can teach you how to offset your income as a contractor. So if you want to reach out to me and you want a consultation, it is a paid consultation. And if you want to reach out to me and you want to talk to me, not only about taxes, if you want business consultation, what's the difference between an LLC and an S corp or a partnership, or if you're thinking about forming a business, what is the right entity to form in regards to the state that you live in? What are the tax implications based on your state? So a lot of you want to do that through LegalZoom, but then that's not even done right when you get ready to file an application to get your EIN number at irs.gov. You might miss and check the wrong thing, and now you're subject to doing what? Submitting, let's say, for example, a 940, a 941. A 941 represent payroll taxes, but you are sole proprietor. So you check that off, think, well, I want to pay myself. No. So that's why it's important to get consultation. And I'd rather pay for something knowing that I'm getting the correct information and someone is guiding me and giving me the information and walking me through step by step of the process, than me trying to do it on my own or trying to be cheap and say, well, I'm going to save money. I can do it myself. And come to find out, you did it wrong. Now you have to pay for that mistake. And that mistake can cost you more than coming to somebody like myself. You probably figure, well, those my fees are high. No. If you don't try to do it yourself and you don't have the education, the knowledge, and the know-how, what's going to happen is you're going to pay for it in the long run. You're going to pay for it in the long run. So there's nothing wrong with getting consultation. What is legal advice, tax advice, accounting advice, bookkeeping advice, business consultation advice. There's nothing wrong with that. That's why we're here to help you and steer you into the right direction. So, if you want a consultation, if you want to talk about why you owe, why every year when you file, you're owing taxes, like you take your car to do a diagnostic test, think of this as a tax diagnostic test, where now when you take a diagnostic test, it gives you a printout and tells you the details about your car, what's wrong with it. I can do the same thing with your tax return to let you know, okay, oh, now I see what happened. Um, you make X amount of dollars. You're now a high earner. You might want to participate in a 401k at your job, or you might want to increase your withholdings as far as the 401k. Um, we could talk about if your job have a health savings account, you can participate in that. But these are some of the things that once we sit down and we talk, um, I can help you. So if anyone out there who's looking to get any consultation, you can reach me at 215-745-2713. Again, 215-745-2713. Or go to my website, www.sbfsllc.com, and book a consultation. And I'll be glad to sit down and talk with you. So I say to everyone, have a good night